Welcome back to the STEM Wolf YouTube channel. Today we will be learning all about graphing and plotting points on the graph. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and learned. Later on, I'll also be continuing this video with slope, since this is the very basics and beginning. Okay, let's get into it. Alright, let's learn all about the graph and graphing. So let's get started. First thing you want to learn about is your graph. And you can see here's our graph in the center. And it is split up by two lines. You can see this is a first line, second line. And they split up our graph into 4 chunks. You have 4 sections right here. First you want to learn about is these lines. You can see right here, this is your horizontal line. And it is called the x-axis. So is the x-axis, while your vertical line right here is your y-axis. So again, to make sure you don't forget, I recommend writing this. So this is your vertical axis, so your y-axis. Here's your horizontal axis, which is going to be your x-axis. Okay, now let's learn about those 4 sections that the graph is broken up into. So these 4 sections, and they are all numbered from 1 through 4. So this section is going to be quadrant 1 or Q1. This is easier to write that way. Then quadrant 2 in the top left corner. Then Q3, quadrant 3, bottom left corner, and then finally quadrant 4 in the bottom right corner. So now you know your quadrants, and so the next step is to learn about coordinates and coordinate points. This is fairly simple, but first you need to learn about the x and y points, right, as written here. So every time you write a coordinate point, just as -5, 4 here, for example, it will have your x first and then your y. And just, you can notice we have x-axis and y-axis. So you'll see how that works in a second. So now you'll notice that our so let's just plot this point A first. And I think you guys then will be able to notice how it works. So this is how we do it. So we're going to find -5. But since -5 is under x, it is on our x-axis. So then we're going to find -5 here. So you'll notice one side has positive numbers. The other side has negative numbers. Since -5 is a negative, it will be on our left side, the negative side. So let's find -5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here, -5. And let's mark that down. And also erase this to make it nice and clear. Easy to see. So that's -5. And then what about 4? Positive 4. Where is our positive 4? Well, positive 4, let's count where that is. Except you'll notice that's where the y is. So that is on our y-axis. So now let's find positive 4 here. So just like the x-axis, the top of the y-axis is positive. The bottom is negative. So right here, we'll count up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it is. And mark that down as well. Right here. Okay, now you have your 2 points. But where's the real point? Because there is only one. The real point is where these points cross. So you can find -5 right here. Goes here. And 4 goes here. The point is where they meet right here in the center. That is -5, -4. So the place they meet is going to be like here. -5, 4. And always when you say it, just as it is written, you want to say it in the correct order. So the x number first, x value first, and then the y value. So here's our point A. Now let's just do point B also. So this is our point B. This is 3, 2. So this will be, so let's find 3 on our x-axis. 1, 2, 3, positive. And then find 2 on our y-axis. 1, 2, right here. So let's mark them both down. 3. You don't always have to count 3. And then wherever they meet, which will be right there, then mark that place as point B. Okay, now it's also important to know where the points of where the values will be values will be positive and positive, or negative and negative, negative and positive, or positive and negative. So quadrant 1, every point here in quadrant 1 will be positive and positive, while in quadrant 2 it will be negative and positive. So what I mean by this is that the x value will be negative here, and the y will be positive, and here they will be both positive. So yeah, that's just important. Now, and then same with our quadrant 3 and quadrant 4. Quadrant 3 is negative and negative, so both x and y will be negative. Quadrant 4 is positive and negative. So x will be positive and y will be negative. Now, let's learn about intercepts. So intercepts here are pretty important. But really what an intercept is, it's fairly simple. An intercept is any point on the y-axis. That would be a y-intercept. So any point, any point on y-axis is y-intercept. And then any point on the x-axis will just be an x-intercept. So any point on, so any point on x-axis is x-int. Okay, so what this really means is that when you have a point such as 10, 0, it is an x-intercept. So first of all, for all x-intercepts, this is your x-intercept. X will be a certain value here, but y will always be 0. And we can see this is the same for point C here, because we have 10 as our x and 0 as our y. So we can find that point. It is just simply right here, 10, 0. And for y-intercepts, it would be very similar. Any point on the y-axis. So it would be 0 for x, but y would be any value on the y-axis. So basically any point plotted along anywhere here, as long as on one of the axes, it would be a y or x intercept, depending on what axis it's on. So let's do a quick plotting points practice right here, and you can feel free to pause the video and try it on your own, or if you're less comfortable, you can watch me do it, and just make sure you know how to do it. So first we'll find point A, that'll be up 5, and -1, so as you can see, our -1 on our x-axis, and then 5 on our y-axis. So that will be, we always write it x, y. So we'll have -1, 5, because -1 is for x, 5 is for y. B is actually here an intercept, because it has a 0 for x. So it's going to be a y-intercept. So let's write that really quick here. We're just going to have 0 as 3, and I'm just going to write y-int. And also this one, point A, is in Q2. Then point D is in the origin. So the origin I don't think this was mentioned above, but the origin right here is a very important place. It is 0, 0, and it's called the origin. It is very important. It's just the center where the two lines meet, the x and y axis. It's pretty important to know, but yeah, that's the origin. Nothing special about it. So we'll write here for point D, 0, 0, origin. I think we forgot to do C, so C is 5, 2, so 5, 2, Q1, E is -8, -5, -5, Q3, and then F is -7, 3, or actually, always X in front of Y, so 3, -7, Q4. So hopefully you're getting the hang of this by now. But anyway, always feel free to review any of this stuff, or replay the videos you'd like. Just make sure you know the X and Y axis, the quadrants, the coordinates, or how to graph them, how to write them, always X in front of Y. Then the origin, very important, in the center. Then the intercepts, which is any point on the X or Y axis, such as C here. And then just how to plot points. Alright,